started as a marketing executive and I had a very lucrative career. I was promoted virtually every other year, and by the age of 30 I was senior marketing manager at a top company. And there was no reason for me to proceed as such on an entrepreneurial path. Because if you look at the history of entrepreneurship, even in Sri Lanka or globally, there are basically two factors. One is by necessity, other is by choice. Now, how it comes by necessity is basically due to hardships, where microfinancing and things like that have been introduced in various countries, so that people can be self-employed. Second element is from generations, like the father or grandfather starts a business and then it goes to the next generation, they boom the children and then so on and so forth. The third element is where a person starts as a professional executive, gets qualified and finds out somewhere down the line that there are better, things ahead of, for some reason moves on. Now I will share with you what drove me to give up a corporate career. Because I have found out over the years that there are some who do that. And it's not much to do with the financial side of it. Because even at that time I was quite well off. Everything the company provided, from free air travel to virtually everything what I needed. So what drove me in order to give all that up and go to a room and start selling computer parts, which I did as my first line of business. Since the topic today is about development in Sri Lanka, now most of the executives that I have come across and spoken to me, they have always mentioned that they also like to know on what drove them, because it's about more than the financial aspects, it's about being control of your destiny. Having the freedom. Because whatever I learned was that during a corporate career, at the end of the day, the boss decides where your future is going to be. And if you don't agree to that, you can see the door. So to keep us on that path, they will give you whatever that is necessary. If you are not happy, you will look for some other option. So over the years I found out that I was contributing quite well to the company's economy. I used to introduce new agencies, new products, new customers, innovation, diversification, everything that the Boston Matrix told us about in the textbooks, I had delivered. So one fine day I had a discussion with myself, and I thought, where do I want my life to be in 10-15 years time? Okay, I had a good path. 5 years down the line, I would have been in the board. So I thought to myself, and I thought, what was that I really needed? Is it money? Is it freedom? Is it to have control over my destiny? And what are the limitations towards that? Okay, what would stop me from taking that decision? As Faisal very correctly said, one was the key things was financial security. Okay, how am I going to fund a business? I am dependent on a salary. Okay, maybe I am getting a good package, but if you add on inflation, if you add on so many factors, that will not be enough. Even my savings will be not enough to last me for a year even. So which means I have to deliver something within at least 6 months. So working backwards, another aspect is that bankers are not going to help you. Understand that if anybody has entrepreneurial ambitions, take bankers out of the equation. They will give you the umbrella when it's sunny and take it away when it starts raining. I am talking from personal experience. And as Faisal very correctly said, security guard will chase you off the moment you walk in. Because the concept of an entrepreneur is to believe first and then see. Rest of the world, they have to see to believe. Your vision and your aspirations are your personal things. There comes a stage in life among certain people where the aspirations and ambitions are far more greater than the circumstances. That's the point that you are willing to take any risk and move forward, irrespective of who tells what. Now, I was considered a fool by some of my friends. Then my relations were thinking I'm trying to commit economic suicide. They were asking what's going to happen to my children, family, so many questions. Because the human tendency is usually to live in the comfort zone. They are not risk takers. We want to find the easy way out, the path of least resistance. Why should you take a risk when everything is provided? So So how can you explain as an entrepreneur about financial freedom? You can't go and talk about freedom to bankers. They will laugh at you. How can you talk about a vision? How can you talk about aspirations? No one is going to listen. It's only you and yourself. You can't even discuss with your wife because she'll also think you have everything. Why should you give it all up? So these questions you have to address first if you ever try to take a path on entrepreneurship. Some of the first things how I overcame that was when it came to financing, I had some good contacts. The people whom I developed good relationships, and they used to bridge the funding. Say for example, if one way out was, first and foremost, if you start a business, get a purchase order. Show that to the bank, then they will take a look at it and see and maybe advance you some money. That's one way. And one of the good things that happened to me was, initially when Dell was covered, I started first in a room with selling parts and accessories. One particular item which came for the computer, it was called a sound card. Those of you all who have been in the industry, many years back, the sound card came separate. And for my luck, my sound card was the only thing that worked with the Dell machines. And Dell was catching up at big time. So I had the luck of increasing 4 times more and selling it. They were compelled to buy that. So wherever, if you are thinking of financing, one way out is take a purchase order, go and show your banker. Once he starts seeing 3 or 4 purchase orders coming under your company, then he will, relent on it. Because even if you have collateral, funding is difficult. Second aspect of getting financing is, before everything else, is get the business. And try to get if it's a project nature thing, try to get a mobilization advance. Once you get a mobilization advance, you can speak to your suppliers and bridge the balance funding and implement the project. I worked like this for several years, but few things what I always tell any entrepreneur should develop is their interpersonal presentation skill. You have to send your ideas to your suppliers, to your bankers, to your customers, to your staff, to everybody. You must develop your communication and interpersonal skills which are in your control. Because most of the time, what we try to find out is trying to correct situations outside our control, rather than thinking of correcting scenarios within our control. Second thing is time management. Focus on the important aspects which you are going to spend time on and see that that is what's going to bring the maximum results within the shortest possible time. Because an entrepreneur's time is varied. You cannot have the standard employee's mindset and expect to get the results of an entrepreneur. You have to look at all the elements which are completely different to a corporate career. Your working times are different, your thinking times are different, you have to allocate a special time simply to think. That is very difficult today. Phones are ringing, there are children shouting in the house, then you get messages coming from home, they tell you this, that. So you must have specific time to think your way through scenarios. Other thing that went against me was the current economic crisis. One of the things which affected most of the SME sector companies in Sri Lanka, if you really see the 90% are SME sector companies, it's only 10% that are really at very upper level. Is the financial crisis. I also made some wrong decisions which I thought that during the 2002 peace accord would last. And we went into big gearing, big plans and all that. We never thought that Sri Lanka is going back to a war. There will be inflation will be hitting, bank interest rates will go haywire, then there will be another financial crisis. So those things your ability to anticipate. What I learned was the need to anticipate situations is a very important element in an entrepreneur. That is what you call macroeconomics. What is happening outside your industry, the ability, the changes in the financial structure, the purchasing power of the consumer, then developing technologies, and within that time in the IT arena there were so many changes, like wireless technology came, then tablet PCs came, so many things which are so volatile that you cannot plan a future. So that in that arena, what I suggest is always try to develop certain skills where you can diversify fast. One of the other elements what I also feel which is lacking in Sri Lanka today is that with the advent of e-commerce, now say the global village concept has come into play. Now, if you really see, majority of Sri Lankans cannot communicate in English. That has become now. What is the point of having all this Google and Wi-Fi and all these? They don't know to go beyond Facebook. and even to use Facebook as an advertising tool. Now these are opportunities. You see, LinkedIn, Facebook, all those things are given free for the right people to put it in the right perspective and achieve the right results. You see, now most of the executives, now I am sometimes surprised to see highly professional executives. I mean, they never even put a professional photograph on professional, sites like LinkedIn. See, these are opportunities where people can make use of and develop their careers, develop their products, develop their marketability. So in that aspect, now if you look, and also now see, if you look at Sri Lanka's economy, with the purchasing power, now we have become a middle income status country. Along with that, though we have become a middle income status country, the disposable income of the consumer has reduced. So if you are going to expand the business, right, how are you going to say if the disposable income has reduced? Which means you have to look for markets outside Sri Lanka. Now if language is going to be a limitation, how are you going to communicate? Now even if these 53 English speaking countries who come from Chogam, there will be a few top corporates who are discussing terms. What about the majority SMEs? They are not geared enough to make use of that opportunity. Though the government says that there will be special forums for SME sector companies, the capability of the SME sector entrepreneur, he cannot tackle those opportunities. So I am leaving with you with a very important quote which has stayed me. As you could have seen that one of my interests is collecting quotes. It doesn't matter whether you are the right person at the right place. You have to be the right man at the right place at the right time. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, become the right man first. Thank you.